Welcome to the enLIGHTenUP podcast. I'm Lisa Watson and will be joined by my co-hosts Nicole Frolick and Brian Koenigberg. The enLIGHTenUP podcast is a weekly show that provides an unconventional and refreshing spin on spirituality, where three friends and weekly guests share informative, fun, and usually off-the-wall conversations. Unlike others, we provide fringe and skeptical viewpoints on all topics, because our experience has taught us that the echo chamber is a boring place from which to learn. So regardless of where you are in your spiritual journey, we can promise you're going to find a place to fit in here. So we invite you to grab a drink and listen in on our casual, entertaining, and hopefully enlightening conversation. And enLIGHTenUP is a self-funded podcast, so if you would like to help us to continue to be able to produce, enhance, and expand the show for our audience, then please send your support using the link in the show notes, or go to our website, enlightenup.us, and check out our merchandise shop, where you can purchase merchandise that will allow you to express some spiritual humor. You may also show your support by leaving us a review on iTunes and following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you all so much for listening and supporting us, and now let's jump right into the episode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to enLIGHTenUP. We are here with a returning guest, definitely one of our favorites, and she's going to be enlightening all of us with some new information, an untold story. We are so happy to welcome back Rebecca Barfoot, who is a multidimensional energy intuitive, seer, and channel. She has starseed heritage of Syrian, Palladian, Lyran, and Andromedan origins, and she serves as a galactic ambassador to many star nations. And on top of helping you to facilitate your healing here on Earth, she's also facilitating the healing for a variety of extraterrestrial beings, which we discussed on our last episode with Rebecca. So Rebecca, welcome back to enLIGHTenUP. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for having me. That's such a glowing welcome. So I'm like, no.
Welcome to Nemo as well.
Oh, yeah. I thought about that. Don't I bring in interesting guests and ideas here? Thank you.
Yes, you do.
He's still around.
And we love that about you.
Okay. Oh.
Well, we're so excited to have you back on. And I'm just going to give you a huge promo to all of our audience. If you want to work with Rebecca, she's probably one of my favorite people to have worked with so far. Rebecca's been doing a lot to help me facilitate a huge healing journey, and she's been able to really tap into information that I have not been able to get anywhere else. And so if any of you are interested in working with Rebecca through the Akashic Records, I highly recommend her.
Oh, thank you,
And I
Nicole.
Second that.
Oh, thank you. Geez, wow. Okay.
Yeah, everyone I ssend to you has glowing reviews.
Oh.
Glowing reviews.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, Rebecca, you've launched your YouTube channel, which so proud of you for finally doing, because I know how scary it can be to put your voice out there.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Thank you.
And you've been releasing a lot of interesting channeled information.
Mm-hmm.
How has the reception of that information been for you so far?
Actually, really good. Sometimes I reflecting on bringing in a mantis being last time I was on the show, and now talking about the Anunnaki story and all of that. These things cause certain reactions within people. Because of our training and our belief systems and things that have happened over time. So if you're talking about something like that might be perceived as not so welcoming, that could be up for, I could be putting myself out there to receive a lot of criticism. And of course we do. When we start talking about off-world beings and the unseen realm, that's always fair game, if it's something new to our belief system. But overall, the YouTube has been really fun, really, really fun, and people are enjoying that. So I'm grateful for that.
Well, you've been talking about the Anunnaki, and you said that you've come across some information that's kind of the untold story, the story we don't hear. Could you first brief us all and our audience on what most people are being told about what the story of the Anunnaki is?
Yeah, yeah.
And start at the beginning, please, for the people like Brian who have no idea other than it sounds like they're Native Americans, which they're obviously not.
Oh God, yeah. Well, there is a tying into the Hopi creation story with the Anunnaki, as I understand it. But anyway, and I want to say too that I'm not an expert on any of this. I don't, as a channel, I actually keep myself from listening to reading a lot of other material, so that when something comes into me, I can be kind of a little deaf, dumb, and mute, like I haven't been studying all these things my whole life. So I don't really know, but it helps keep, I feel, the channel that I get rather clear. And after a while of channeling a certain being or a certain thread of information, I will start seeing, well, what is out there? What is, like, I don't really know. What is this whole story of the Anunnaki? But just to be kind of in brief about it, in popular circles, within our community, we could say they've been viewed as the great manipulators of humankind who came in and had a hand in creating us to help them help them get gold for their survival. You could say we're created as a slave race. So there's a lot of controversy about that, but you also, that they've been malevolent overlords of humanity, manipulating us for a very long time. And I'm not going to argue with that. So nothing I'm bringing in is necessarily arguing with that. It just might be offering a different thread of information that we, I don't know, maybe I think more news of other aspects of the Anu are coming forward. And that is that they have, like all things that are created within this timeline of duality, an ascended aspect, just like humans, a light and a dark aspect. Well, what has been coming into me really out of nowhere is what I learned was an ascended aspect, or a small group of ascended Anunnaki who offer that they stayed behind when the Great Separation occurred for them, in which there was a choice to go into the third density in the earth plane and do all these things to humanity. They stayed behind to keep the, how did they call it? The creation codes directly connected to source intact. So this timeline could play out, and then things could be returned to unity in the unified field of source creation. So that's a long story, but does that make sense, kind of?
So what you're saying is that there were some who stayed behind, wanting to preserve an aspect of the race that was still higher connected and not falling into malevolent purposes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To enter different timelines, or to shift timelines, or to kind of like a backup plan, a fail-safe.
Well, I think because, part of this dual expression that we're really in the heat of right now, this greatly polarized aspect of the human timeline, it's kind of part of the human experiment and part of the plan that we would come in and experience this, however we got here. Was it the Anunnaki or something else? Co-creatively, we became. And then moving back into creation through the experience of great separation, coming back into unity. And I don't understand fully the Yuga cycle and all of that. I'm getting more information about that, but it all looks like this pendulating out into the great aspect of, massive separation and fear-based consciousness that we're going through now, and then slowly coming back into a place we might call 5D ascension, or unity, awakening the unity codes in humanity, and this created timeline. So
from what I understand, or I've been, read about, the Anunnaki have been known to kind of be at that, there's the Illuminati, and we talk about the Illuminati, but mm-hmm. the Anunnaki are sort of the beginning of that. They're the ones that screwed everything up. They're the ones who
right. Yeah.
altered our DNA and made us this slave race. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or that's
I mean,
that's the
I don't.
reputation
I
they
would
have.
say that is the reputation, and I think there's veracity in that, absolutely, and that relationship to the Cabal and Illuminati is absolutely there, as far as I can tell. I'm always getting new information, but yes, I would say bang on.
Does that clear it up for you, Brian, as far as your understanding?
Yeah, the words make sense. It's getting your mind around the idea. When you don't, as I don't, believe in this bigger picture idea, no, it doesn't make any sense. It's completely illogical that that we're a slave race, and that there's an evil empire controlling everything. Can I understand it? Yeah, absolutely. Do I believe it? I think that hasn't been given to me yet. That the faith that you guys have to believe that, I don't have that.
It definitely takes faith. It's definitely a leap. We're watching a sci-fi movie at this point. It's yeah.
I agree, Brian. I agree with you guys. So when I first started learning about this some time ago, or hearing little whispers of this, I was like, get out of here. That's so stupid. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, what if? And, as a channel, I kind of trained myself as a meditator, Dharma practitioner, and as a channel and a guide for other people to really sit with what's coming in without, give it space. Don't necessarily judge it right away. Just give it space to reveal whatever it is. And just sit with that. Don't make it this or that, or I believe, I don't believe. I just kind of gather it in for a while. And in all the channeled information that I get, I sit with for a very long time. And do you know how this call came up? I was getting information from this being called Jezmet, from the Ascended Anu group for some time. And I finally said, Nicole and I are friends, right? I messaged her and I said, so have you had anybody else on the show talking about this lighter aspect of the Anunnaki? And she goes, no, do you want to come on and talk about it? I don't know anything. What? So anyway.
You know more than most.
Oh, okay. So I know I'm very I don't know anything. Just don't throw rocks at me.
Well, you're one of the few that are talking with them. So
yeah. Okay. So anyway, I get it that this sounds so crazy far out. How could we, because when something comes in that vanquishes your whole idea of who you are as a people, well, it gives one maybe pause, significant pause. What if you've been taught the things that aren't true? What about that? It's just a matter of belief systems. Hey, sorry, guys. Just me being my my off-world self wants to talk in light language. So
that's normal to me. So.
Okay, right, Lisa. Thank you.
No, we love that, and just
I think it's normal.
Just for listeners who might not be used to that. So.
Well, if I can just interject that,
please,
just for our listeners, because I know you. So when you start speaking light language, right after you speak the light language is when you're channeling.
Yep,
it's like the kickoff. Okay, here comes the channeled message, and then we get Rebecca. So we actually have three guests.
You can hear it in her voice that it's a different, different pronouns, and that you sound like a different person when you're, after you get the download in light language, then you channel the message in English, and then you are you again.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I was starting to channel.
So continue.
Just saying, where was I?
Just about, I think you were getting a channeled message about how, it's a belief system, and it's really also hard to believe all the lies we've been told. And that's what we believe.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that this being called Jezmet came in to show me was to just trust you're sovereign. And ultimately, all of this came from source, goes back to source. There's nothing to fear, whatever you believe. It's actually in the end about getting away from belief systems. Not caught in the stories of right and wrong, dark and light, who did what, history written and unwritten. But where are you going? Where are we going together? At this point in the fractured timeline of humanity, that is the most salient. That's why we came in. It's quite a lot of very like wanting to talk, that one. Just saying, like, we're in this together, and somebody's gonna mock me and say, no, the Anunnaki are not in with us now. But talk about what happened when you first met. What did she show? What did it show? What did he show? So can I just go into that for a little? I think that might be helpful. How do you guys feel?
Please.
Okay. So, prefacing it by saying I had no interest in any of this. So writing a book with conveying some of the channeled material that comes in from the Hathors, right? As this started coming in, I was told by a figure named Mother Hathor that I needed to learn the foundational aspects of our creation so I could understand the darker side. Understanding foundational separation consciousness aspects. And more to that, I won't go so much into that perhaps, but when I met Jezmet, I wasn't looking for any of this. I wasn't, trying to channel like the Anunnaki at all. So I was walking in the woods one night and I realized my consciousness expands in the dark forest. It's a beautiful time for me connecting with the earth and the stars, very grounded. And I was surrounded by I was aware of a presence surrounding me, and it was reptilian beings. Not at all the first time I'd seen reptilians of all sorts. But they said right away, because I was like, okay, I'm a little wary here. And they weren't menacing. It was very neutral. It was just like, oh, something's in my consciousness. Do I want to check that out or not? And they said, first and foremost, we don't come to harm, we come to show, we come to teach. And a lot of times when I meet a new group or a new being, it's very brief. So I will get a sense of the energy signature and a basic read, like a photograph in my mind and a real sense of them, and then can sit with that for a while, and I can decide if I want to go forward with that. But so the next day or two I was at the end of a meditation, kind of just sitting there, and bam, I had I was like, oh my God, I'm sitting directly in front of this huge reptilian being, and it's quite virile. It's very male energy, huge. And I did kind of go into fear mode. And it said again, I don't come to harm. And it was true. And in effect, its energy was very, very neutral. No, not light, not dark, nothing. But as a thing arising, a phenomena arising from space to show and to teach. And this has been true from the start. But to be brief, what it was showing me, and I've channeled reams of information for the book about this, that kind of for me to look at my own fear. What was my reaction when all I did was see a reptilian and feel this massive energy field? Not threatening actually me, but my fear reaction was so entrenched in my DNA almost, right? In our hardwired fight or flight response. It's like, do you see that? And Jezmet, this being, his name is Jezmet, and first appeared to me as male because they're shapeshifters and they're so porous, shapeshifter not being a bad thing, not just nefarious, but that they work as a collective. So through her, a lot of different aspects of the Anu and different individuals can come forward and show me their story. I was just being trained to look at my own mind in that instance. When you hear the word Anunnaki, what do you feel? What do you think? When you see this reptilian being in front of you, look at your reaction. You hold now the keys to your own individuation and your own autonomy. You hold the keys to your own freedom, all of you in humanity now. we may have begun this story, but it's you who will finish it. And you in humanity hold the key to our liberation too. Somehow this is part of the story and why they're coming forward. Because the Anunnaki are so caught in that separation consciousness that somehow humanity, as, if you like, their creation, we are now helping create a new timeline for them. So they're wed. Really interesting. Later on, she said, we and you, humans, that is, have tethered timelines. We are created and creators. So are you. And then just reading from a channel, just very brief sentence here, too, from Jezmet earlier this month in March. Once created, a thing over time can regain mastery of itself. This is because it is made of creation energy, which is alive. It is conscious. So it's long-winded, but
that makes complete sense to me, because we learn that if we truly understand the idea of duality here, and that everyone is a mirror image of us in some capacity, in some aspect, that there's light and dark in everything, and how we choose to perceive it or react to it is completely on us. And I think it's important that you know, there's all these different stages that you go through as you learn and you grow and you come into this knowledge of this information, and how you handle it. And as you grow and expand and get stronger in your own sovereignty, your own energetic sovereignty, you begin to realize that you can respond in any way that you choose. And that's all about your own sovereignty. And so choosing to see other beings that would normally be triggered in us to see as, you know, malevolent, trigger the fear, gives you an opportunity to change that programming and to see things from different perspectives and know that there's always light and dark in everything.
Thanks, Nicole. Yes, well said. I agree with that. I've learned so much just in the time that I've been working with Jezmet. And like, so true. I must feel like, wow, thank you. I get it. I so get my habitual responses. How do they keep me in a cage? Fear, in black and white, and separation. So I want to make this belief system right. I want to make this belief system wrong. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I don't have to do either of those. Like in the end, it's just my own life rising from space, dissolving into space eventually. So, I mean, and she comes in to give me this huge perspective of the whole, when you're taking in me, I guess, taking in this massive cosmic type of view and energy, these visions that are so big, spanning millennia. I kind of get, when I'm working on the book with a colleague, we're doing this together to help bring in the channel material. She's transcribing it. Anyway, so I'm like, oh my God, I can't channel anymore. It's just, we've been on the call for 2 hours, channeling, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. It's just too much. It's a massive energy field. And when I'm looking, because I'm being shown, what I realize now is home base of these Anu people, and the other place where the keepers of the Anu light codes stay, orbiting through non-orbit, through intergalactic ways. Yeah, I'm showing so much information about their creation, what's been happening with humanity, and still trying to find human languaging around it, because I often feel, as I talk about the multidimensional realms, that languaging is so limited when we have a 3D linear concept. But if I'm trying to talk about something that's not based on space and time and the English language, where do I go? So I'm sometimes challenged with that. But so far, we're doing okay here.
To bring it kind of down a few notches, I think your experience with Jezmet is an important thing for people to understand, even just in this 3D realm. When we're talking to someone, I'll just use the example, say you're a Democrat and you're talking to a Republican, and we have so many beliefs around what that other person is and who they are and what they stand for, that we don't allow ourselves to listen and see the connections that we do have and the beauty that is there between us, because we're judging. And when you said, you have to make kind of the choice to not judge at all, this is good, this is bad. How about just nothing? Like, I just need to be in a space of, it's almost like a space of grace, a space of acceptance of whatever is going to come forth here. I'm going to allow and live in the now. I think that's a wonderful lesson for all of us.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. I think that's so well said. It's this cosmic equanimity. Like, okay, I don't have to choose a side here. I can just, feel into that space and letting it have space. Just let it have space to breathe.
And at the same time, though, still keeping your discernment levels high.
Yeah.
Because you don't go in there completely, naive or unshielded or unprotected. You go in there knowing that you want to have an open mind, but also that, if any of your senses are going off, that something's awry, you are ready to take care of you,
Oh, definitely, as a channel, and yes, just with the messaging coming in or whatever, like Lisa said, Democrat, Republican, just not have to take a side about it. But absolutely, I agree, especially if I'm starting to, as working with facilitating healing for off-world beings, a lot of this, why am I getting so much information about various groups of beings is part because of that work, I think. And I have more, like, they'll come in to show me part of the story or their timeline or what's going on for them. So, but getting back to what you said.
That's what I was just remembering. The last time you were on, you talked a lot about how you do this healing work for a lot of different beings. Is that why this Jezmet came to you, was for healing?
Well, it's not. No. They don't come for healing, no. But first I want to say it's a group of us that gather to do this. I'm just feeling into that question. Jezmet, I use the opportunity of open-mindedness in the human to critically present different aspects of Source and the Anu. So I think because I'm open to, when Nemo, the mantis being, came in, I could feel its energy signature, and it wasn't, I can just, you can feel negativity, and this is not it. You can feel when a being is more not there to serve you in good ways. So, and having, that as a channel, I think that's to underscore, as Nicole said, have to be grounded. I mean, I have a very dedicated meditation practice, deep connection with earth and heart space, and a completely dedicated path to opening my consciousness and being aware of what I'm connecting with, and not being afraid to be like, hey, is there veracity? Is this fidelity to the truth or not for you? And to question my own, I'm always questioning this. Like I was like, do I want to go on this show? I don't know anything. What do I know? Maybe it's all wrong. So I'm always, my own biggest skeptic, probably.
Do you think, along those lines of what do you know, do you think, like, right now that Jezmet wants to channel a message through you?
Oh, just feeling in there. I mean, she's given so much information. Let me I'll just pause here and open that a little bit. Sure. Putting the antenna up a little higher. Yeah. Yeah, they've been around because they do want to, yeah, she's easy to connect with now because we're doing some work together to bring in a different story. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So um, the okay. So the Anunnaki separation consciousness first existed with the Anu, within those that are we, the Anu, first existed between us as we were hit by a great collision and much confusion came in. Confusion, we didn't know what to do. Our atmosphere was falling apart. We were refugees, wanderers in the galaxies. We came in, looked into the 3D portal. We didn't want to go, I and some others. There was a group of us, but the others came in. We didn't. This was the first time we had disagreement. It was as if the great collision caused so much confusion, and in that was born the essence of separation within us, and hence into the humans who we would create. We could see, because of who we are and our connection to creation, that it would just be a way. It's like of saving our creation codes, experiencing something else because of this collision. They had to make a choice. Like before, it's like they were a collective living in a harmonious frequency, if you like. And some kind of cosmic thing happened, and they were divided. And there was this, I see, like almost, not a battle, but some of them decided to go do this 3D Earth thing so they could get what they needed for their atmosphere. But what happened to, do you see the separation? The male-female separation. What happened to you in your terms would call it the feminine aspect. Has someone seen a female Anu before? Of course they have, but what is focused on? The male controllers. We want to say that this is part of the story we bring back, and of course you hold the keys to your sovereignty. Freeing us, freeing you, we are wed. We created and are created and destroyed through you. Kind of showing, as we would say, this mass separation consciousness, almost some aspect of that came into the Anunnaki themselves, first and foremost, and that's how they were given this sort of separation seed to sow in the earth realm. But we saw that it would all come back as part of the plan into source after a great time of being at war. It is not what we wanted. We have been bystanding. We don't seek to control or really change anyone's mind, but just to show another side of the dime. Okay. The main message with her is that we hold the keys, like the creators, if you like, of the Anunnaki, helped seed us with this fear consciousness, and the keys, the cage, like we're in a bird cage, and the cage door is now open, but we don't know how to fly out. But we have a lot more power to decide what happens now. Almost like they knew that they would come in and that their time would end. That was also part of the plan. Like they were living on borrowed time for this particular aspect of the cycle, and they would have to, play their game and get out, if you will. Whew, excuse me. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. What
that was a great explanation.
Oh.
Just kind of what we were talking about before. That definitely cleared things up.
Huh.
Was the collision like when you said a cosmic event, was it due to some sort of like material collision, if you will, or was it due to
like a meteor or something like that?
Yeah, or was it due to like a race?
No, it was I still when this started coming in my visions, still looking for a word. Cosmic collision is what I keep getting. Like if you take a pin dropping an infinite multiverse, right? Over space-time, over millennia, that can cause like a massive tidal wave and cause, let's say particles, quantum particles, particles of matter, particles of something, to gain a lot of momentum, and then something in its way, even though it started as a whisper, becomes this shout, that it did cause some kind of collision, like a cosmic quaking. That was a physical collision, it seems like, to their home environment, their home. I see it as a planet, but also a craft that travels through space that they are wed to, part of their consciousness. And we might call that Nibiru. Stop, you'll open another can of worms.
We love worms.
Exactly. Oh, God. Anyway, so long answer, but yes, a very physical collision with their planetary craft.
Yeah,
very interesting. Everything is divine, but that kind of makes it like it's not like another race tried to go to war with them and make this happen. It was, like you said, a very cosmic collision.
Yeah, and I don't really know what the party storyline is on that. I have not researched that, but I don't get a sense of any war or any incoming other beings causing this, at least not at this time. And in my apprenticeship or my learning with Jezmet, it's going to take probably years to this, to the level or the breadth and depth of the information takes a long time to sit with, integrate, and reveal itself, and then to keep getting more. Like I said, I think my journey with her is going to be really ongoing. So we'll keep learning more.
That's all so interesting. I love hearing new material and different perspectives of what's going on. It gives us a bigger picture and a broader view. And I mean, the more information we have, the more equipped we are to understanding things. You've also been experiencing inner Earth through remote viewing, haven't you?
I have, yeah, a lot through remote viewing, a lot of remote experiencing of, certainly. And inner Earth has been quite a, I keep wanting to go back there. It's so blissful. It's like, oh, humans living in eternal hope and fear. Oh, that's so blissful. Let's stay there. Oh, this is so awful. Let's get out. It's all phenomena. But the inner Earth seems to be gathering strength and tied somehow in crystalline frequencies to the 5D grid of Gaia and the new Earth. Rebirthing. It's very important right now. And Brian, just to say, like, I was like you, when I heard about inner Earth some time ago, I was like, what the hell's that? That is some blah, 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 the center of the planet. These people are crackpots. And then I actually... I'm
pretty sure that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, right? Fair enough. Because I started... Well, I was going back to the ET healing stuff, I was starting to get beings that had stories about inner Earth coming in to talk to me about, what was going on there, or just revealing themselves a little bit more in this place we call inner Earth, and a portal in Antarctica that seems to have been co-opted by Dark Lords for a very, very long time, and that's causing dissonance on the frequencies of the planet. Like a portal in and out, and a lot of stuff. Antarctica, very important right now for human survival, human reckoning with truth. Anyway, inner Earth, somehow that's related to inner Earth. I think it's an entryway into the inner realms of this planet and its ultimate coming back into light age.
What has been the most beautiful experience or viewing you've had of inner Earth so far?
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. This is nice. I'm getting those frequencies coming in. Let's all be on a bliss bomb together.
I can feel them, actually. I'm feeling them come in.
Okay. So on Brian's team for a second, total skeptic, I'm like, oh my God, because I led a group guided journey on one of the, I think it was a new moon or full moon. And on the journey, I explored some new things with our group and as the guide, channeling this experience. And I saw a crystal city and I went, get out, no way. And total crystal city. I went, oh my God, because of the feeling, it's not like I go and just am remote viewing. I am remote experiencing. So I have a full on visceral sense of this place, this aspect, this frequency. And it was so it woke me up. Like after leading that guided journey, the next few days I was lit up with something totally new frequencies, totally new awareness, very healing, very enlivening and enlightening. So it is a timeline that's always existed. It is just coming back into the consciousness of many. And it does seem to have to do again with, I kept getting all this stuff about crystalline light codes. And before that journey, for the week before, I was getting all this stuff about, you have to let the blood and fluids of the body be purified and entrained with these crystalline codes. And it does seem like they have to do with the upping of our DNA or reawakening of it, and genetic ascension, if you will.
What were the colors of the crystal city that you saw? Like what was that? Was it pastel-y? Was it really vibrant?
Yeah, it was really vibrant. Like when I went into Inner Earth, it was really everything. It was like lit, but not with the sun. It was like lit with some other light source, and everything is light, made of like platinum and very gossamer, transparent pastel colors, very soft, very, very, very soft. There is no disparity. There is no separation here. All beings know as part of a whole group what the consciousness is going through, what is feeling is felt by all. So like polar opposite to much of what we know about this experience of separation. This is absolutely like I go down, I feel like it's just another dimension. I think
Lisa and Nicole want to do a road trip there.
Yeah, don't we? Let's get in the car, cosmic car.
So can you talk a little bit about Inner Earth from just more of a skeptic's viewpoint? I'm sure we have many listeners on this show that don't even know what we're talking about because we were taught that Inner Earth is a magma in the middle. And,
right.
There's nothing in there. So what are you fantasizing about here?
Right. No, great. I love it. Yeah, let's do that. Well, it is not so much in your 3D mind going to a place inside, like the molten core that you know of your Earth. Is not necessarily same place. If we talk about a different dimension, it's just an overlay. Like if you have a bunch of shirts on and one of them is the molten core, well, what about the other one? Maybe it's gossamer. Maybe it exists right on top of the other, or maybe it's right through. You could say it's not actually a place inside like you think of inside, but a place in tandem, a place separate and apart, but also inside. Already written in you. So maybe not like getting in the car and driving somewhere. That's sort of the linear view, but that it's standing by, never gone, all inside. I keep seeing this vision of inside the human body, inside of our codes, our cosmic codes contain this. Where do you travel when you go to the Inner Earth? You travel in your consciousness. Where does consciousness exist? Where does the mind begin and end? What about the heart? You see, we open the portal. It is not about A to B. It is about infinite light, infinite space. These exist everywhere and nowhere. So a little bit of a koan, Brian. I don't know if we helped you.
Well, it's also it can be a matter of scale, because I'm picturing the end sequence of Men in Black, where they're zooming out through our solar system, and then the camera view just keeps going out, solar system, galaxy, universe, and as you're seeing the entire universe, it zooms out a little bit, and that universe is a marble, and that there are these aliens playing, a marble game with all these marbles that are all separate universes. And it's, to them, the marble is very small. Mm-hmm. To us, at the very center of that universe is huge. So the idea that something can exist, you said, within, that something can exist, so I can look at the Earth's core and see, it's nothing but magma. But if you can get your mind, around the idea of scale, you can say, well, that magma can be made up of, a crystal. And like, if you go inside one crystal, there can be an entire, universe or crystal city or, anything.
Yeah, and it seems to also, and I like that. That's so, so quantum. We're talking about the quantum realm, not the linear third density realm of space and time limitation. Also seems to relate to Lemurian light codes. There's a lot of interplay or reflection from what I've seen of Lemuria in the inner Earth realm. Some crossover. Some of the Lemurian codes were kept in inner Earth and points upon the surface of your Earth as well, waiting for the time when things would be ripened. So, And over time, for some reason, I've been given a lot of keeping taken to different places on the Earth where the Gaia frequencies there's either like a portal or a very important energy system within the electromagnetic grid of our planet. Some of them are portals, some are just energy centers on the Earth, connecting points of many different sites. So
we have, Lisa and I have a mutual friend who does extreme remote viewing. And he has told us that he's seen underwater cities that are existing right now. Have you seen that through your remote viewing, or do you have any knowledge of this?
What I have seen are things at the bottom of the sea, like pyramidal structures, things that have been sunk from long ago. Let me see about I don't recall now having seen underwater cities, but I'm not saying that that's not old timelines being rebirthed. This is true. So, interesting. Did he give any locations in particular?
Can I get a longitude and a latitude?
Yeah.
I want to know more.
Yeah.
Not long.
Yeah, exactly.
123 Atlantis way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, something down around Australia, I wonder. Very far south Pacific. I'm just looking etherically at the globe. Anyway, that's interesting.
Well, that's also close to Antarctica.
Not south so much of south of like Malaysia and anyway,
the Ring of Fire.
I don't know. That's so interesting. It's all very fascinating. That's cool about the cities, though. Not surprising that those are being seen.
For my knowledge, can someone tell me? So there's Atlantis and Lemuria. Did those exist at the same time? In just two different places?
What is time?
What is time? Oh, yeah, I don't know what all of that. I think I sense that Lemuria is quite a lot older than just Atlantis was more contemporary from a millennia old view. I don't know. What do you know, Nicole?
From what I understand, Atlantis was a breakaway civilization of Lemuria. So when they realized that Lemuria was going to sink, part of the civilization retreated into inner Earth. This is what we're told, or to another dimension, we'll say. And part of the civilization trekked across land to survive, and Atlantis was found.
Okay.
At least, or something along those lines. I'm simplifying it greatly.
Yeah, sure. Of course, condensing like massive scale into a sentence. But yeah, that makes sense why I was seeing then the relationship between Lemuria and Inner Earth. Sure.
Yeah. That's the understanding that I've found through various different sources and some channelings from a group that I've received personal channelings from. That's the information that I've been given.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I think at the beginning, I kind of keep myself, keep the volume down on a lot of things. So I'm just like getting stuff going.
That keeps it pure. That keeps it very pure.
That's my hope. I do hope that, because I don't, what is the likelihood? I'm human. So am I just bringing in a story that I've heard somewhere else? And I'd rather not do that. So that's why I'd be like, I don't know, what's the story of Atlantis anyway? And I can't, what happens to me? I will keep getting things through clients. Like I'll be doing a past life reading, and then suddenly I'll get this massive wave of Atlantean energy, and suddenly I'm getting the story through that. So it's almost like I'm being connected cosmically to clients who bring me in the next piece that I need to know about. Anyway.
Well, that makes so much sense, because we're like all different conduits, right? And connectors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Ooh.
I believe the information will come to you when you need it.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel that way about just what's going on 3D. That's kind of how I approach things. Like I don't, don't really seek out the news or anything, but I know that whatever I need to know, I'm going to find out. Someone's going to tell me, it's going to cross my path somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it always does.
Oh my. Well, so when I started getting all of this from Jezmet, the person who's helping me with the transcribing for the book and that we're meeting with, she said, do you have to go study all the Sumerian tablets and stuff? I said, no, I'm not about to do that. I mean, isn't that what everyone's been trying to do? I have no interest in that. But yeah, like, I will come upon information as needed. I just have to trust that. I did. It was interesting. Before Jezmet, it was a couple days before I went out that night in the woods and was surrounded by the group of, reptilians. I had heard, I was with a client, and she said, what's my starseed origin? And out of left field, Nibiru. And I went, oh my God, did she catch that? I don't even think she caught it, because we went on to something else. And that had not come up before, a Nibiru starseed. So I started getting that, and something about Tiamat too, just in the days before this. But very interesting how just things come out of left field.
I've never heard of Nibiru.
Yeah, I think that.
How do you spell that?
I think it's Nibiru.
The X planet.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the home starship, home craft of the Anu. Yeah, so the Anunnaki, that's their
their home planet.
Mothership system, conscious life support system for them. It is a whole system. Yeah, wow.
I can't hear Planet X without imagining Duck Dodgers.
Let's hear Duck Dodgers.
Duck Rogers in the 24th and a half century. It's a Looney Tunes with Daffy Duck. and you've got Marvin the Martian. He fights Marvin the Martian on Planet X. I claim this planet in the name of Mars. That's what Marvin the Martian says.
Excellent soundbite there. Rebecca, I'm curious, because last time you were on the show, Brian requested Nemo to visit him and have beer and bacon with him, and
whiskey and bacon.
Brian actually made breakfast for Nemo, and
the lights flickered.
We all believe Nemo visited, and there was a lot of light flickering and all of that. But, in the moment, I know Brian will speak a bit differently now, but he was pretty convinced that something had happened. But his logical mind...
No. You're using the wrong word. I was open to him visiting. I was not convinced, because my logical mind convinced me it was just the light bulb that was dying. but I was open to the idea.
Lisa, what exactly?
That the lights flickered and I said, Nemo?
Lisa, what exactly was Brian's reaction?
He was making breakfast and talking to Nemo, asking him to join him for bacon. And then one of the lights in our kitchen that hangs over our counter, like a bar counter, started flickering, and he ran upstairs and he said, come quickly. I think Nemo may be here. And so I think, Brian's explanation is more accurate as far as he was open. He wasn't fully convinced because he was like, or it could just be the light flickering.
Because it kept flickering all day long.
No, it was only during breakfast.
No, the next day it flickered
until
it just
the next
kept,
morning.
That's right. When I wasn't trying to communicate, and it was just going on and off, and I was like, oh, well, it's a bad light bulb. So, but I can understand
that, or he was still around.
Sure.
And I think that I communicated that to Rebecca, and I believe, Rebecca, you communicated that to Nemo, and he said, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't break anything.
And because he didn't come back, that's why my logical mind said, oh, just a bad light bulb. Because he was, if this is a real thing and he was worried that, he broke something electrical of ours, and we said, no, come back. I mean, we openly said, no, please, we welcome you back, and come back. And it never happened again. Logical brain said, yeah, just a bad light bulb. Mm-hmm. If it would have kept happening and you invite him back and it keeps flickering even after you change the light bulb, I'm even more open-minded about it. But it's hard. It's hard to understand when you look at things the way that I look at through logic, mm-hmm. and when I can explain it more readily with a logical explanation, that weighs more heavily. Is it still a part of the equation? Yes. Can I be open to it? Yes. I can't accept it as truth or fact because it was not repeatable, and you have to be able to repeat something. Well,
that's the Matrix idea of proving something, that it has to be repeatable. So,
right.
I mean,
the scientific method.
For me, I could take one experience, and if it felt so real to me, I don't need another experience to prove it to me, because that's ego, and that's the Matrix idea of keeping you locked into believing it doesn't exist. But
right, Brian keeps.
Thank God I am not you.
It keeps us all.
Why thank God? Why thank God?
Thank anyone who's listening. I am not you.
Okay. I don't know what you mean by that.
Brian. So,
because you wouldn't want to look at it illogically.
Right. I am me, and I am happy to be me.
That's what he meant.
And I have no problem looking at the world the way that I look at the world.
You're content.
Was there a question in all that, Brian?
No, Nicole brought up Nemo. I think she just wanted to share with you that I, may or may not have had an experience with Nemo.
Yeah, maybe I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know if I had heard the full denouement on that. But, and Nemo wouldn't care really what your perspective was. That's not what... Don't come to change minds, just to leave experiences that help awaken. Maybe the question was part of what was given. Not that you needed a solution, but to sit with your own mind.
And it was to me, it was more for him, not me. And if it was him that visited, I hope he had the experience that I offered.
Oh, you're offering this experience. See? So did you create that? Oh, isn't that
That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted Nemo, since Nemo's not in a body, he wanted him to feel and experience what Brian feels and experiences when he eats bacon and drinks whiskey. And he was asking Nemo to join him in that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, perhaps there was a joining. It does look like it, because I had been saying, if it's going to be helpful to Brian, for you to experience that frequency of beer, bacon. Go for it. Yeah. So, interesting in the realms. Sometimes I just want to be like, try and be regular and like be, go out and I don't know, whatever, like be regular. What's that, Becca? Just swimming in this all the time, gets like, I have quite a different view, or I'll be talking to somebody or with, I'm in a public place, of course, and then I'm starting to do something in light language at the checkout, and I'm like, oh, shut up.
And that's exactly why I put that out there, because I know that a lot of Nemo's experiences and energies that he picks up on are through you, and the way that I look at things are vastly different. So I wanted to, give him a chance to experience something, maybe you were something rooted more in the 3D as I am compared to you.
Oh, no. I mean, Nemo is at this point just serving as a advanced frequency modulator. Things have shifted somewhat with him, but definitely he works with frequency and learning about different realms of experience from the human perspective. I don't know that it's limited to my comings and goings of my own mind and life experience, but yeah, I mean, he does it does work with me, or I'm maybe part of his consciousness is also working with others. So it's always swimmy. I guess I'm a little too content just being in the mystery and not always solving it.
It's a difficult place to be. I mean, and I have the same experience as you as far as standing at a checkout line and, speaking light language, or, I'll be talking to someone and then I start jumping around like I have Tourette's and people are asking me if I'm okay. And, let your freak flag fly. But it is difficult breaking out of this belief system and offering a different perspective to people, that isn't based in how a way that someone like Brian, and there's, millions and millions of people on this planet like Brian that need to see things logically, need to see it to believe it. And we're saying there's another way. And we, it can be uncomfortable. Like you said, you just want to go back to being normal, but no, not really. You don't,
No, not really.
No, and I don't either, but it's not by science. It's a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us. And that's why we do this podcast. And that's why we're here to support people and ask the questions and see and, look at other ways of looking at things.
Yeah. Yeah. I often think that it's just about sometimes questions are much more important and juicy and rich than always finding your absolute solution, because once you arrive at a solution, there is a kind of limiter in that. Can you receive new information after you've come to that solution? So fair enough. Like if I've made all my conclusions about Jezmet and what she's offering, or about my 3D life as I go through, life in my body, I will not be open to receiving anything new. And a lot of my guides present me with exactly that. It's not that what's been given already is necessarily wrong, but that there's always more to this story. And I think that's beautiful. I absolutely light up with that, because there's no end to what I'm going to be exploring in this life. There's no limit. We are so fond of limitations, and they're really not. Not knowing sometimes is the best gift. So that's a hard one to sit with. That's a hard one, but I think I feel kind of lit up with an aspect of that being true, at least for me.
No, absolutely. I mean, we had a guest on, John Mathis, who also does remote viewing, and he talked about how the brain's job is to solve a problem, and you can't remote view something when you're trying to solve the problem, because as soon as you solve the problem, the remote viewing's over. And so by keeping an open mind and not trying to solve the problem allows more information to come in. Mm-hmm. And so that completely makes sense from where you're coming at and explaining that.
Good. Yeah, definitely. And I want to say too about viewing or relating with off-world beings, it's our human tendencies to anthropomorphize everything Like everything's a human, everything is male or female. What's your name? What density are you from? Are you 8D? Are you 5D? Are you 4D? Are you, what are you? Bam, bam, bam. We have all these questions. We want it, like, we almost kill the thing by sticking it in a box. And now if I had done that with Jezmet, I wouldn't be able to have seen first that it was coming in as this very male aspect with sort of an very overbearing in a way at first. The energy was so big, but then it became other things. And finally, in a channeling session a couple of weeks ago, Jezmet broke through with the most beautiful love. It was pure love from source, and I just cried. I was with my book transcriber partner, and I was just weeping on our call, like, oh my God, I've never felt, I wouldn't expect that with an Anunnaki. So far out. But it was me letting go of my idea, okay, now this has to be a reptilian every time I see it, because at that point, no longer a reptile, just a very not even a physical form, more of a light and gossamer light body. So letting that come in too, without nailing it down. So so true about your guest you just mentioned, Nicole.
Yeah, it makes sense, and it kind of speaks to the truth of this whole journey, and everything you were saying before. It's like you just, as soon as you decide something is one way and only that way, you've completely shut off the opportunity to learn more about it. And that's, that's part of the human experience of this separation and all of that. So that's cool. Yeah. But and we all do that. We all do that at various points throughout the journey. And then we catch ourselves and we can reopen and, let more in. That's just part of how it all works. So, it's kind of like this, what's the word I'm looking for? But you're kind of like swaying back and forth, moving back and forth into this, really open mind, and then closing it all down. And part of, I think, the reason why you close it all down is because there's a level of processing that has to happen sometimes, integration.
Yeah, that's the word. That's the word. Hit the nail on the head. Integration. Like, so true, Nicole. So well said there, that we have to pendulate back into like wide open space, new concept. Holy shit, look at that. And then we come back into our little safety zone and sort of like, oh my God. And so integrate. Like, I will get cut off in a channel after a few hours because it's like, this is enough. You have to be able to process this. Otherwise the information becomes useless. So it's why I take a very long time to sit with things. And in fact, I was like, I can't go on enLIGHTenUP today. I need 5 more months. Like, no, I don't want to talk about it.
We don't roll like that. We just go. Let's just go. Just do it.
I know you do. That's a good, thank you. Oh, very good to have a lot of levity in our call today too, because this can get a little like,
It's a big leap. I can understand from you being this channel that in presenting it to a world that's not ready for all of this quite yet. You're forging the way. And
right. If it's a big leap for you, imagine how big the leap is for me.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. Brian, our whole world has been controlled for a very long time through these reptilian beings operating as humans in all of our institutions. What do you think? I mean, yeah, do I look insane at that point? Yes, absolutely. Because not everyone is ready to go there exactly. But a lot of the crimes committed now against humanity through this mass separation consciousness have been seeded by those in question here today. It's true. Oh, okay.
There you have it.
And
all right.
It's so ironic, yeah. And I know Nicole's talked about this before. It's just so ironic that I can watch a movie about this and be like, oh, that's entertainment, but I can't get my mind around it as, oh, that's reality.
You and 7 billion other people. What's that TV show that we were watching, Nicole? The comedy about the reptilian.
Oh, people of Earth or people?
People of Earth, yes. When Rebecca was just describing it, I thought of that, people of Earth, like
reptilians as humans. Yeah, it's like, let me just unzip my human body and out comes the reptilian. It's actually...
And we all laugh at that.
But okay, so this is really interesting. So I was talking to a girlfriend last night. I'm not going to say who it was, but she experienced this idea of seeing herself in her higher self as a light being, and then seeing her physical self from behind unzipped, and her higher self stepping into her human costume, and then being zipped up from behind and having an integration process, which was so wild to hear about and so interesting. And I'm like, that's really kind of how it works in a way, like it's a really much easier concept or idea to digest and chew on. It kind of is that way in many aspects. And, just like us on Halloween, if we want to put on a costume and take on a completely different persona, we can do that. And depending on how much you really want to let yourself go into the character, you can completely morph into it and totally change people's experience with you through that. So it's not that far of a stretch, but it is in the way that, some of these concepts are very far reaching in what we've always been taught. But I just thought that was such a wild experience to be shown.
I'm like, it's so normal though. Doesn't everyone experience that? I always experience my body falling away into this like off-world thing.
That would be a great meditation, like to actually take yourself through that and see your higher self stepping into your body and, okay, I'm going to play this out. What would my higher self do? That I am, that all knowing, that all believing in myself. We just came from the Quantum Revolution tour where Jessica talked about stepping into your I am, which is basically that, saying, I am whatever, I am love, I am free, I am determined, I am success, I am worthy, and stepping in and now live your life as your I am, stepping into that body. I think that's...
Stephen King, in his younger days, he wrote, he was a big fan of J.R.R. Tolkien and the Hobbit and the Lord of the Ring series. And he wanted to create a story like that. He wanted to create his great epic. And he wrote his epic is kind of about that, this guy's journey. Just hearing this conversation, if I read it again, and actually your roommate Nicole Ben, he introduced it to me, and it's about this guy on a plane of existence and coming to a mirror every once in a while, in this desert, and he's able to go in through this mirror, this doorway, and into and control a 3D body. And, the 3D body doesn't know that he's being controlled by, we call it the higher self or whatever, but this other entity is really interesting.
What's the name of that book?
The Dark Tower is a whole series of books. A movie was made recently with Idris Elba, but the movie to me didn't connect with the book at all, but the book series is called The Dark Tower.
Wow. Well, Rebecca, thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing all of this information with us. It's super fun. I know that, some people have the perspective of like, that's ridiculous. There's no way that can be a reality. But from my perspective, I'm like, this is so entertaining. It's so interesting. And, regardless if it's true or not, it's a freaking good story.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Nicole. Yeah. All in essence coming back to unity. So beyond the polarized separation into that. So I'm willing to do it for that, right? That's what I'm saying. It's like ultimately this is all about that. Whatever we choose to believe, coming into more.
I think it's important
with ourselves,
to open our minds, or just at least have these ideas out there that we can chew upon.
Yeah. And I think, and that's it, play with the idea, have fun with it, okay, maybe you don't believe it can be real, but what if it was? How does that feel? And what would it look like? And, where could that go? Like that just kind of is about playing with your consciousness and expanding it and having fun from like the child perspective of like when we're 5 years old.
Using imagination.
And have an imagination and get to create. It's part of the creation process. So, you can take it seriously and you can shut it all down, or you can have a little bit of fun with it and no one else needs to know. You can keep it to yourself. But it could be very fun and playful if you really wanted it to. Awesome. And Rebecca, can you let our audience know where they can find you and what your YouTube channel is?
Oh, Sirius Blue is the YouTube channel, Rebecca Barfoot, Sirius Blue, and also my website, RebeccaRoseBarfoot.com.
And if they want to book an Akashic session with you, which I highly recommend, everyone,
I second that.
highly. And I kind of like, and I'm like, man, she's going to get so booked up. I'm never going to get it.
I'm blushing. Yes, you can book those sessions on my website, and a brand new rebuild of the website's coming soon. I'm really excited about that. With a lot of more channeled information, I'd like to get more of the word for word of some of these channels and channelings from Jezmet and many more onto that website. So stay tuned. Thank you.
That's super fun. And Rebecca and I are working on a secret project together, which
teaser.
I'm so excited to create with you.
Teaser, yeah. Okay.
We'll leave that for another time.
Okay, you guys, thanks so much. What a great time to, I don't know, just be here again. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rebecca. And to our audience, thanks so much for joining us. We will be back again with you next time. Have a wonderful week and lots of light and love to you all.
Thank you all for joining our show. We appreciate you tuning in and supporting us. If any of you have any questions you would like answered on the show or any guests that you would like to hear on our show, please email that information to us at info@enlightenup.us or send us a voice message using the Anchor app. There's a super cool feature on there that allows you to send us a message or ask us a question with a touch of a button right from the app. And please continue to support us by following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you haven't checked out Nicole's channel on YouTube yet, head on over there for some more insight from her, or you can visit her website, inflexibleme.com, where you can book a personal coaching session or a tarot reading, watch some of her most informative videos, or you can sign up for her newsletter. And if you're interested in some light language healing, head to my YouTube channel, Lisa Loves Love, or send me an email to lisa@lisaloveslove.com to inquire about your own personal reading. Thank you again for joining us and supporting us, and we'll be back with you all next week.